this 40 million United God protect me. Hey! Woo! Come on, come on. God protect me. Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Junior's World of Soul. I am back with a new video, ready to bless y'all with R&B the right way, the authentic way. But before y'all do anything, I want y'all to like, share, subscribe to Junior's World of Soul. Hit that bell so y'all know anytime I come in with a new video, y'all know, y'all get that notification. And let me know if you're not getting that notification. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know, you know what I mean? But as y'all can hear, I came in with Keedron Bryant with his song, I Just Want to Live. Song is definitely self-explanatory. He did this remix with Andrea Day and Lucky Day, and he did the remix with them, and the song is just powerful. Just for that boy to be singing it, and he's 12 years old, and really be singing about us black men, you know what I'm saying? We just want to live in this world, and it's just so sad that, every day that I walk out of my house, I have to really wonder if I'm going to make it home with this police brutality and racism and things like that, and have a 12-year-old boy singing that from the soul and feeling that emotion that is real out here. You know what I mean? And y'all got to really understand that black lives do matter, and I'm talking about all. That's why y'all see I wear the shirt that says Black Lives Matter, but I want all black lives to matter, and I mean everybody. That's gay, trans, lesbian, men, women, everybody, all our lives matter, because at the end of the day, like I said in every video, in every open of my video, we all are one at the end of the day, and if we want change to happen within us, we can't be separated in our own community. So we have to love each other, and we have to stay connected, and everybody, we're all black at the end of the day. So, you know what I'm saying? Gay, lesbian, trans, men, women, we're all black at the end of the day, and that's why I say, yes, black lives should matter, but all black lives should matter, you know what I'm saying? But yes, y'all check out that dude, because he just Keedron just finished singing for Dr. Dre, and that boy sings. And I hope somebody get him and really do something good with him, because that boy really can sing, and he really got a voice that definitely deserves to be heard, because he sung with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre even felt it, you know what I mean? So so all that being said, y'all know what it's all about. I'm here for Current R&B Bangers. Now, if you're new to Junior's World of Soul, Current R&B Bangers is all about showing mainstream America that R&B is alive and well, and it's not going anywhere. R&B really is at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to mainstream, giving it the promotion and the love that it deserves, and it's sad. So for me, I am an R&B lover, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit and complain on social media and always complain how R&B is not getting respect and what are they doing wrong and blah, 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 because you can tweet it all day and you can get retweets and you can get likes, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing something to help R&B, then you just need to cut it and just listen to the music and keep it moving. But I can't do that because I love R&B too much. So I said what I'm going to do is create a platform here at Junior's World of Soul, Current R&B Bangers, so I can show people that, R&B is alive and well. So I'm giving unsigned and signed R&B artists a place where they can have their music, heard. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like R&B is just got to be the word of mouth right now, especially if R&B is not in the talk of the mainstream world, you know what I'm saying, as far as verses or whatever. When we kind of at the bottom and nobody cares. But here at Junior's World of Soul, R&B is always at the top, so it's always going to show love and be respected. So, you know what I like to do? I like to give y'all 4 to 6 joints every week to show y'all that R&B is alive and well. You know what I'm saying? Now I can grab my cup, because I had to kind of get it a little bit together. But now I got my red cup so we can get this started. So again, I got 5 joints for y'all today. So let's get this all started. And we're going to start with this. Here we go. All right, here we go. Why I keep coming back. I keep coming back home. Hey, if it is love, why I keep coming back. I keep coming back home. Hey. Yeah, that is coming from Trey Songz, Trigger. That's a trigger banger right there with the new face of what's her name? Summer Walker, her new face, you know what I'm saying? Respect to her, you know, all that issue. But we can say that Trey Songz really is an R&B vet. We can say because the dude has been out since 2005, so he's been in the game for 15 years. So we can kind of give him that R&B vet because the ones that's like now kind of look up to what he was doing in 2005 and, you know, kind of looking at him and see where Trey and why he is where he is now. You know what I'm saying? Because Trey always had that hip-hop flavor, you know what I'm saying, to him. So, you know, he's definitely, you know, you got the new kids that's definitely looking up to him. Like when Reddy was out and I Invented Sex and all that, they looking up to that, these young kids now. Because y'all believe when Reddy came out, that was 11 years ago? Crazy. But what can I say? You know, when I heard Back Home at first, I was a little nervous because I just don't like when our artists, you know, kind of veteran artists get with these new artists just to reinvent themselves, and it seems like it's forced. So I was a little nervous because I was like, okay, Trey is working with Summer Walker just to get, you know, this mainstream to really, really accept him. It's all about acceptance for real. And I was like, uh-oh. But then when I heard the song, I was like, yo, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I like it. You know, it got a little groove. Trey did what he needed to do. Summer Walker did what she needed to do with the face before she had this one. You know what I'm saying? And then it's all good. So I was like, I like it. So I was like, okay, Trey must be coming out with a new record, a new album. So I was like, okay. So I'm always get a little hype when Trey is about to come out with something, because I always want to see where he's going with it. You know what I mean? Because ever since kind of Ready, everybody's kind of been really following Trey. You know what I'm saying? Even though my favorite is Passion, Pain, and Pleasure. You know what I mean? That's my favorite Trey album, to be honest with you. But yeah. So you know, I'm always hyped to see where Trey is gonna coming at. So him and what's his name? Troy Taylor got together again. Them two have magic, and they've been working with each other since 2005. And Troy Taylor and Trey Songz just have that magic. They make great music together, and they made another great one. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And obviously they ain't. And this song is entitled Circles. When I heard it, when I saw, you know what I don't like is how social media is now. Everybody is just like, oh, when the song comes out, oh, it's the hottest thing since like spread, So I'm a little worried when I see it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm an R&B lover, so of course I'm going to listen to it. So when I listened to it, I was like, yo, Trey, I like this. You know what I'm saying? I like it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I am going to talk about this on Current R&B Bangers. So here's the first joint. This is coming from Trey Songz. This is entitled Circles. And here we go. It was a little something like this. Here we go.
You know we just gon' do this over and over again. We going in circles, keep going in circles, over and over again. It's a catch-22.
Yeah, I like it. You know what I'm saying? It got a nice little groove. You know what I'm saying? You can get your little wine on like that a little bit. They got a little groove. Trey is riding it right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I like it. So then he brought out the video at the same time. So I was like, okay, how's the video? The video even made the song dope. Like, it made it even doper. You know what I'm saying? That's what I liked. You know what I'm saying? The video was so cute. I like how he used, you know what I'm saying, he used the three couples, he used the teenagers, then he used, you know, him and his girl at his age now, and then he used the older couple, you know what I'm saying, and basically saying that they're going in circles. Then he had a Black Lives Matter moment, which I thought was dope, you know what I'm saying. So the video was dope, you know, I liked the song. The video even made the song better to me. So Circles is all right, you know what I'm saying. So Trey and Troy, y'all keep staying together because y'all make some dope music. Y'all got some dope chemistry together. But Circles is all on all streaming platforms. The new video is out. I'll put that in the more info box. The joint is hot, and that is the first joint on Current R&B Bangers that's coming from Trey Songz, and that is Going in Circles. All right, let's keep this going. Oh, well, I'm about to go in.
Must be a genius, or me and you wouldn't be here. I know this was opposite. I don't believe
this. No, I'm genius.
So everything was there for a reason. I know that you had everything. I don't believe it, but when
No, yes, my boy Kevin Ross with one of my favorite joints of the year. God is a genius. Now, let me tell y'all about this song. I was in the post office, right, when the song first came out, and I was grooving to it online because I was mailing out some things. And when I was listening to the song, like I had on my headphones, so I'm in my own world, and I'm just jamming to that joint, going in. So when people, of course, is looking at me. When I'm listening to my music, I'm in my own world. I'm like, whatever. So I'm walking out, and one of the dudes is like, yo, what is this song that you was listening to? I was like, this is by Kevin Ross. This is genius. God is a genius. He was like, yo, you was jamming to that, yo. I'm about to go and see what this song is about, because he said you was in your own world just rocking. I'm like, well, shoot, the line was long as it was, so I had to find something to keep me busy, and then my boy just came out with a new joint, so I was rocking, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just had to give y'all a little story. But Kevin Ross, this dude deserves so much more, because he sings down, as y'all can see when he does his little mashups on Instagram. If you don't follow him, that's Kevin Ross Music. Like, the dude is so talented. I just wish Motown would have did better with him as an artist and really would have pushed him as an artist, because he's just so dope. He's young. He could have brought some new flavor, you know what I'm saying? He can really sing. He got the vocals. He ain't trying to be a rapper. He actually sings. You know what I'm saying? And they could have pushed him, but they didn't. And, but he's better off doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? He got his own label and all that, and he's doing what he wants to do as an artist. And you only got to respect that. You know what I'm saying? But I have been rocking with Kevin Ross since 2016 when he came out with Long Song Away, which was my favorite song of 2016. And, then I talked about him so much on the show, as far as when he came out with his new his debut album, The Awakening, and then he came out with his 2 EPs. I talked about Drive, and I talked about Audacity Volume 1 on here, and that joint is with the joint Thing Called Love. So listen, I am a Kevin Ross fan because the dude is so talented and he makes good music, and he's young. And this is what these record executives and these labels need to understand. Get these young ones, the ones that really got the talent, and push them for where you want, so we can get our genres represented the right way. But that's neither here nor there. This is about Kevin Ross. But Kevin Ross dropped his EP, Audacity Volume 2. You know what I'm saying? And he was telling us it was coming after he came out with his God is a Genius. He was letting us know Audacity 2 was coming out. And he also did an interview with my girl, Check the Rhyme. She did a dope interview with him. I'm going to put that in the more info box. Like, it was a dope interview. They talked about music. They talked about everything. I'm going to put that in the more info box. Y'all check that out. And subscribe to Check the Rhymes. Like, she does dope interviews. But he dropped Audacity 2, and let me tell you, I fucking love it. I'm sorry I have to curse, but I fucking loved it. I was listening to it Friday morning on my way to work, and I was like, yo. And I'm not even the biggest EP type of dude, because I want bodies of work, but the EP, this Audacity 2, I like it better than Volume 1. I'm sorry, Kevin, I just do. I like it better than Volume 1 because it's so dope. He's bringing the flavor. He's bringing that, new flavor, but he's still singing on the record. He's still R&B, but he's still got that current vibe to it, so the current generation can vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? My favorites on it is Remind You, Overthinking, and Salvation. Yes, God. And then he even got some interludes on there. And that's what I said also, what I feel like we're missing from, R&B albums, where they did interludes. And then interludes even made you be like, damn, this can be a full song. You know what I'm saying? So he did interludes on there. But I feel like the hit on this album, he already brought out God is a Genius, but I feel like this should be the second single. It's entitled I Do Options. It's kind of like 2 songs, but the I Do, I was like, yo, when I was listening to it in my car headed to work, I was like, yo, I'm talking about this on the show. So this is the second joint of current R&B bangers coming from Kevin Ross, and this is I Do. And here we go. Goes a little something like this. All right.
Ooh, you know I do, yeah. And baby, you ain't gotta ask me about it, 'cause I would rather show you 100 ways to prove it.
got a little nice vibe to it, and it's like an end of the summer type of jam. You know what I'm saying? And it's so smooth, but it's dope, and then kind of gives you, you know, a feeling of him doing this when he does his mashups on Instagram. And it's like I can see him doing the harmonies and the backgrounds to this, but I was like, yo, this joint is a smash. This joint is a hit. I feel like this should be the second single. For real, for real. Like, listen, I want y'all to go support my boy Kevin Ross. This dude is talented. Audacity 2 is on all streaming platforms. It is popping, y'all. Please support this dude. I'm gonna put all his information in more info boxes. Instagram, his Twitter, all that. But please go listen to Audacity 2 Volume 2. This joint is dope, and you will not be disappointed. It's 17 minutes, and I'm not the biggest EP type of dude, but it's 17 minutes. Like, really, check the joint out. And that is Kevin Ross, and that is I Do Options, and that is the second joint on Current R&B Bangers. Woo! Oh, God, that's my guy right there. That is my dude right there. So, all right, let's keep this going, Okay. We going to one of my favorites from last year. Okay.
I wanna spend it. I wanna spend it.
Hey. Okay. One of the most artistic dudes of this current era, I feel like. I'm talking about Kyle Dion, who is representing Connecticut, and he is just dope. And I was actually introduced to him by his song Brown, and when he did it live. Because let me tell you something, if I'm gonna talk about somebody, you might have a great song, but if you ain't got the woo, I ain't talking about you. If I don't hear no great vocals and you could do the joint live, I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? And I saw him do Brown, and I saw him do it live, and it was on he was like on some really artistic vibe. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I like him. You know what I mean? So then I went and actually listened to his album Sugar, that this song Spend It and Brown is on. And it actually became one of my favorite albums of 2019. Like, I jammed to it. And a lot of them I talked about here on Current R&B Bangers. I talked about Glass House. I talked about Hands to Yourself. I talked about 69 Camaro. I talked about Stay the Night, which was on the deluxe version. And I talked about Time Heals, Just Not Quick Enough. And I talk about them joints. And I'm telling you, like, this dude is dope. He's like artistic, like in that Prince type of lane, a little bit kind of like that Prince, that Rick James-ish type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? And I think he's really, really dope, you know what I mean? And then for that, of course, I had to do my research, and I went back and I listened to his Painting Sounds album, and still my favorite song from Kyle is In Your Feelings. That song just does something to me. I love the record, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that song is just so, so dope. So listen, I recommend y'all go check him out. Like, he's really, really dope. You know what I mean? But the last time I talked about Kyle was he did a song with Full Crate, and it was entitled Brandy. And the joint was dope. And I was like, yo, like, it seemed like, yo, he's just hitting every song that, you know what I'm saying, he hitting. So I was like, yo, if you keep talking about, you keep making that good music, I'm going to keep talking about it here on Current R&B Bangers. You know what I'm saying? So listen, he got another one. Kyle got another one out. Actually, I don't know if you can call this an EP or whatever, but it's 2 songs. And the one song that I'm talking about, this joint is called It Don't Mean a Thing. And it has like that 80s type of vibe to it, but it still kind of got a groove to it. And I was like, oh yes, I got to talk about this joint. So here's the third joint of Current R&B Bangers. This is coming from Kyle Dixon. Kyle Dion, and here is It Don't Mean a Thing. So here we go. I'm telling y'all, I got that 80s vibe, so I think y'all like it.
Say this, say that, sounds nice. That don't mean nothing.
Hey!
You gotta show me what you mean.
Hey!
That don't mean nothing.
Hey!
You gotta show me what you mean.
It still got that thump to it, you know what I'm saying? It got that thump to it, but it still got that 80s vibe to it, and I would love to see him do this live, because, again, you have to prove to me that you're talented. You can make great songs in the studio, you can be alright in the studio, but let's see if you can do this joint live. Make me really feel this record, you know what I'm saying? And I just can't wait to for him to do this live. But I think he's dope. Definitely, like I said, check out Kyle Dion. Like, he's really dope. He's artistic. You know what I'm saying? I recommend y'all check out Painting Sounds, then go to Sugar, and then listen to this joint, Don't Mean a Thing. And tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you think in the comment section. And I'm going to put all of Kyle's information in the more info box if you don't follow him. Because this is another artist that I think is very creative. He's talented. You know what I mean? And I think he deserves, you know, a lot of shine. You know what I mean? So that is the third joint of current R&B bangers that's coming from Kyle Dion. And that is It Don't Mean a Thing. Alrighty. Keep this going. We moving along, y'all. We moving along. Okay. Bring it back. It can buy you birds, it can buy you queens. Hey. That is the Hammer Tones, and that's featuring Ricco Barrino. But this is all about Ricco Barrino. Now, if y'all don't know who that is, he is the brother of Fantasia. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. That Barrino family is some singers. We talking about the mama, Fantasia, her brother, Ricco, Teeny, all of them. They all can sing. And then they cousins with Calvin Richardson. They cousins with Casey and JoJo. Like, they just a singing family. I would love to be around them during the holidays because there ain't nothing but some singing going on. You know what I mean? But Ricco, he is from High Point, North Carolina, a southern boy. So you know he got them southern vocals. Hello, that's why he working with the Hammer Tones. And then they also cousins with Anthony Hamilton. It's just like everybody seems like they just related and they just singing. You know what I mean? But of course, if you don't know Ricco, he definitely sung background with his sister. So if you see a lot of her early performances, he's singing background with her. Like, the dude can sing. You know what I mean? But in 2009, he signed with T.I.'s label, Grand Hustle, and he did a lot of features. He did, of course, with T.I., Young Dro, Rick Ross, Angie Stone, Killer Mike, and there's so many other songs, you know what I'm saying, he did during that time. And let me tell you something, Ricco definitely paid his dues. You know what I'm saying? He paid his dues, even though, you know, the industry is always going to look at him as Fantasia's brother, but the dude got some good music out, for real. Like, he did 2012 Play, which was kind of like, you know, his version of R. Kelly's 12 Play, which I thought was dope. But I must say, his album that he came out in 2013, The Musical Evolution, is my favorite, though. It's my favorite, because that joint just is soulful, but it's still that current, and he knew how to balance the two. You know what I'm saying? My favorites was Bar Hop, Go Ahead, Fool on You. Like, that boy is singing on Fool on You. You really know that. And then he got a soulful joint that I love, that is definitely one of my favorites, is How Much I Love You. Like, if you want to know what soul sound like, go listen to that. I recommend y'all listen to Musical Evolutions. It's on all streaming platforms. Definitely want y'all to check that out. So anytime that I see that Ricco is putting out new music, I'm always hyped for it, because again, he's a singer. You know what I mean? And I'm like Whitney Houston. I listen to singers. Okay? So he just released his new EP. It's entitled Good. And of course, he's bringing the soul to it as usual, because again, he sings. And my favorites on it is how he opened it with Remember My Name, and another one is You Show Me Love. But I feel like the hit on the album that really could give him some buzz if he do a dope video with it too is the joint with his sister, Crazy, right? And I just said people gonna know him as Fantasia's brother. But at the end of the day, this joint Serious that he does with Fantasia using that Midnight Star sample, Curious, they bodied it, and I thought it was a dope record. And I was like, yo, you can put this out and got people rocking, got people dancing. So I was like, yo, I gotta talk about this. So here is the fourth joint of R&B bangers. This is coming from Ricco Barrino featuring his sister Fantasia, and here is Serious. Here we go. Give y'all a good sample of this. Here we go.
The way you walk with it, baby, you gotta know we're going crazy. Serious, gonna dance with me, baby.
Hey!
Like crazy. I swear
Come in, Fantasia. Y'all see her coming with that vocal riff right there? I tried, but that joint is dope, yo. Like, it's a joint that you definitely dance to. It's definitely, you know, this current generation, they love to dance. You know what I'm saying? They can vibe to this joint, and I think, you know, it's familiar to, you know, the classic, because I don't like calling nobody old. It's classic, you know what I'm saying? So it's familiar, can bring everybody together. They talking they shit on it, and I think it's a dope record, for real. And you know, I love, you know, and they can actually bring this back and have it be another hit, because Midnight Star, they used it, got a hit. Then Remember LSG used it with LL, MC Light, and they did that, and that was a hit. So I feel like, yo, this joint is a nice little beat. Fantasia and her brother, they talking their ish on it. I think it'll be a dope joint. So for me, I like it, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. But again, I want y'all to check out her good EP. It's on all streaming platforms, and Ricco Barrino is dope, and I really want y'all to check him out, because the boy can sing, and I'm going to put all his information in the more info box. So that is the 4th joint on Current R&B Bangs that's coming from Ricco Barrino, and that's I'm Serious. All right, so quickly, we're going to go through this one kind of quick. The person that you hear in the background is Tori Kelly. Now, if you don't know who Tori Kelly is, she was really big on YouTube, and then she went to American Idol. She went on there twice and didn't get past. You know, twice. I don't understand, because the girl can sing and she's talented and play the guitar and all that. But then after she went on American Idol and people saw her, then her her YouTube followers went completely up. Like, the girl can really sing. She's one of the great singers that has come out in the last like 10 years. You gotta put her on there. Like, the girl can really blow. You know what I mean? But she kept pushing, and executive at Capitol Records saw her and saw that they can do something with her because of her talent, and they signed her to Capitol Records, and she released her debut, Unbreakable Smile. She got 3 platinum singles off of it. You know what I'm saying? She was nominated for a Grammy for Best New Artist, which I feel like she should have won, but that's neither here nor there. They pick whoever they want to, or whoever they brought to pay. But that's none of my business. But I think once Tori realized how much the industry and how shady and out of control she is, it just really made her like, yo, I just want to sing. And you know, she definitely was inspired by blues, R&B, pop, you know what I'm saying, and gospel. So she was like, you know what, I'm going to take myself over to gospel. And she went over to gospel. She actually did a performance with the Hammertones on the Celebration of Gospel. Killed it. She's a, you know what I mean. Then she actually did an album called Hiding Place, and she did it with Kurt Franklin, and it actually got her a Grammy. It got her 2 Grammys for Best Gospel Album and Best Gospel Performance, if I'm not mistaken. And you know what I'm saying? And that's solidified, because at the end of the day, she wanted to come in just to sing. And that's what she did on that record, and she got awarded for just singing. You know what I'm saying? And then to have Kurt Franklin do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can't get no better than that. You know what I mean? So definitely kudos to her. But she just released a new EP called Solitude, and she's taking it back to her roots. She said, you know, I like when I was in my bedroom and I would write songs and just make music, and that's what she did with this EP. And I think it's dope. Again, Tori Kelly, she just sings. That's just what it is. And my favorites are Unbothered, Glad, and Time Flies. But the one that I feel like is a hit, and I feel like it hits home, is Value. And I feel like it's so real, and it's so freeing, and it's a message that's in it. And you got to know your value, know you're worth something. You know what I'm saying? People going to tell you what they feel you're worth, but you got to know what you worth inside. And this song really gives you that. And her to open the EP with the song, it's like, yo, she brought me in. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? Definitely going to talk about this joint. So here's the 5th joint on Current R&B Bangers. This is coming from Tori Kelly, and here is Value. So here we go. Hold on, give y'all a good sample of it. Here we go.
Lucky for me, I still know my value. If I don't have you, still know my worth. Even though it hurt, I still know my value. If I don't have you, still know my worth.
Hey!
Even though it hurt, I still know my value.
Y'all hear the background? I just like that. Like, it's so smooth, it's so free, and it's such a dope joint, y'all. I definitely recommend y'all check out Tori Kelly. Check out her live performances. Like, the girl sings down, and that's what you can tell she wants to do. I just want to come in, I just want to sing. I don't want the politics, I don't want the foolery, I don't want none of that. I just want to sing. And I think, you know, again, she took it back to her roots, and I think this is a great EP. So definitely check it out, and I want to talk about it, and that's the 5th joint of current R&B bangers that's coming from Tori Kelly, and that is Value. Well, y'all, I gave y'all some bangers today. I gave y'all 5 today. You know what I'm saying? Actually 6 if you want to talk about Keedron's Bryant's I Want to Live, which is on all streaming platforms. But the joints I gave y'all is Trey Songz with Circles, Kevin Ross with I Do Options, Kyle Dion with That Don't Mean a Thing, Ricco Barrino with Serious, and Tori Kelly with Values. As you can see, R&B ain't going nowhere. It's alive and well, and y'all got it from a lot of dudes. You know what I'm saying? And we just did a podcast on 5B Podcast with Kill's podcast. I'll put that in more info box too. When we talked about, you know, dudes are just not singing anymore. They're not singing, and they feel like they want to be soft. And what I feel is that I feel like these R&B guys is coming out right now because rap is so... The current rap culture is so strong right now, and I think these R&B guys want to come in and kind of connect to them, so they don't want to do these songs that's just too soft, and they feel like they want to connect to them and get that shine, so they do these type of songs where they ain't even singing. They kind of like rapping, singing, and it's like we don't even have it. Like people were saying, people ain't even singing in the rain no more in videos no more. Like it's come to that, you know what I'm saying? But that's just the way it is. But you know how I always say back in the 90s when our R&B, you know, people were really connecting to that hip-hop culture, they were still singing, but yeah, they had the hip-hop swag, like the Mary and the SWV, the Cocos, and, you know, all these groups and all this. They still were singing, but they still had that hip-hop swag, but the vocals were there. And I think that's what we're missing. But again, we need our A&Rs. We need the real ones that's going to grind and find real talented artists and fight for them. That's what we're missing, the Irv Gotti's, for real, because he fought for DMS because the labels didn't believe in him. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have the people believe in them, and then you see that you can do something with it. But I can go on and on and on. But before I get out of here, I want y'all to check out the R&B Representatives with me and Elise. This Tuesday at 8 p.m. on our IGs is Junior World of Soul, JR World of Soul, and Natural Elise. And listen, we're talking about the deep cuts of Stevie Wonder. Like, we're going from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s. We're talking about songs that's unappreciated, and we're talking about deep album cuts. I'm so excited to talk about this because I love 60s Stevie. And let me tell you something, I'm going to go in because I'm going to talk about songs that people need to be talking about, but they don't. You know what I mean? So check us out. I'm going to put all that information in the more info box. But y'all know how I like to do. I like to come in with a new joint, and I like to exit with a classic. And since 2 years ago, we lost the queen of soul. I'm talking about Aretha Franklin. And yesterday, I had my red cup yesterday, and I was just going through them Aretha songs, just feeling the emotion and all that. And I was like, this week, I'm going to dedicate, you know, this throwback to her. This song, 35 years ago, was #1 on the R&B charts. And this is a song that I guess Aretha, you know, when people talk about her 80s records, this is one song that you have to talk about. So here we go, and I will see y'all next week. Here we go. We're going riding on the freeway, all the love in my pink Cadillac. Hey, hey, bring it back. Come on, Rita. Hey. Hey. We're going riding on the freeway, all the love in my pink Cadillac. Hey, hey, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.